What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, well-renowned, Hall of Fame, iconic trainer, Joe Goosen, he finally breaks his silence by not breaking his silence and let you know that he felt like and reiterated what he stated in a build-up for his fighter going into a massive pay-per-view lightweight showdown. That being lightweight, junior welterweight, superstar title contender, King Ryan Garcia, who is now 23 wins, 1 loss, no draws, 19 wins by way of knockout, 24 years of age, 5'10", with a 70-inch arm reach. Joe Goosen, ahead of this fight with Ryan Garcia, as he was taking on Gervonta Tank Davis. Gervonta Tank Davis, superstar, 3-division champion, simultaneously held the WBA super title at super featherweight, WBA regular title at lightweight and junior welterweight. Gervonta Tank Davis is now 29 wins, no losses, no draw, 27 big wins by way of knockout. He is 28 years of age, 5'5", with a 67-inch arm reach. Joe Goosen, the reason this is important is because Ryan Garcia in this fight, he was dropped in the second round. He was arguably losing every round from that point forward. And then he got dropped in the 7th round by a body shot, and he never recovered. And that was the first loss on his resume. Now, leading up into this fight, Joe Goosen, he explained that Ryan Garcia, well, he essentially trains himself. He said, you don't train Ryan Garcia. You partner with Ryan Garcia, right? You're an assistant. Essentially, he is the head trainer, right? He makes his own game plan. He has his own way of doing things. He has his own viewpoints, and he has his own ideas of what should and shouldn't happen, right? And so Joe Goosen, post-fight, after Ryan Garcia was knocked out, Joe Goosen, he didn't find his way post-fight, and actually, we have to put out a APB on Joe Goosen because there is no sight of Joe Goosen. He disappeared when the fight was over, and we haven't seen Joe Goosen since. As you can see here, Ryan Garcia training in Joe Goosen, Tank Goosen gym, but we haven't seen Joe Goosen ever since. Joe Goosen wasn't in the picture for many of these training videos and training sessions. And I told you guys I got word that Ryan Garcia was only showing up to Joe Goosen's gym 3 times a week, okay? Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for his sparring sessions. Other than that, Ryan Garcia, he was training on his own. Now, he is training with his father, trainer and manager, Henry Garcia, so that plays a major part. And he also has a gym in his house. So Ryan Garcia does things his own way. We know this because this is the same issues he had when he was over with another well-renowned future Hall of Fame 2-time trainer of the year, and that is Eddie Reynoso. He was training with Eddie Reynoso, who Eddie Reynoso is known, his popularity and his familiarity with Eddie Reynoso is because he trained 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar boxer, who is now the current undisputed super middleweight world champion, Saul Canelo Alvarez, who has a record of 58 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 big wins by way of knockout. He is 33 years of age, 5'8", with a 70-inch arm reach. So Canelo Alvarez and Eddie Reynoso, they stated that Ryan Garcia was not committed to the sport of boxing. Ryan Garcia would only show up when he felt it, when he felt the need to show up. And Ryan Garcia, he would then tell Eddie Reynoso he'll come at 12 and then don't show up to 2 and then leave 15 minutes later. So that's what Eddie Reynoso and Canelo Alvarez was stating when Ryan Garcia, he parted ways with Eddie Reynoso, and Ryan Garcia said he left Eddie Reynoso in that camp simply because they just didn't have time. Eddie Reynoso didn't have time focusing on Canelo, and he needed somebody to commit to him 100%. And so he went back to Joe Goosen, who trained him early in his career and in the amateurs, and he went back to Joe Goosen. Well, Joe Goosen had zero to say about this. He absolutely disappeared. And that lets you know everything you need to know. That's confirmation that Ryan Garcia wasn't showing up to the gym. Does that mean Ryan Garcia wasn't training? No, Ryan Garcia was training. He was just training on his own with his own pad man and his own team. I thought that it was in bad taste, though, still on the part of Joe Goosen, who still showed up for the fight. If he wasn't training with you and you couldn't control him and you didn't have much say so, then you shouldn't have showed up at all. If you know his preparation wasn't proper, Joe Goosen was doing interviews saying how Ryan Garcia was the hardest working fighter he's ever been around. Ryan Garcia was the mastermind. He was saying that you can't teach Ryan Garcia because he knows everything. Now, I'm looking back and I'm wondering if he's saying that because he feels like Ryan Garcia was just not coachable. He was just not trainable, right? And so you just partner with him. You can't train him, right? So that's what I'm looking back and I'm seeing this. But Joe Goosen, he still was a part of the buildup. He still was a part of the fight. He still was very present and very visible. So when Ryan Garcia took a loss, then you should have been visible and very vocal at that point as well. And afterwards, then you can make amends with Ryan Garcia and tell him, listen, I'm going my way, you go your way. Unless we're going to do things my way, I can't do this. So that's what Joe Goosen should have done. But Joe Goosen, he completely disappeared along with Ryan Garcia's managers, promoters, and everybody else. Oscar De La Hoya, Bernard Hopkins, everybody disappeared on Ryan Garcia. And this is an indication that, well, they didn't want Ryan Garcia to take this fight, and they didn't think he was prepared for this fight. Even Henry Garcia, his father, stated that he didn't think Ryan Garcia was prepared a few years ago when he was calling out Gervonta Tank Davis. He thought he was more mature and better prepared and better equipped to fight and compete with Gervonta Tank Davis. And Ryan Garcia, as I told you guys, the lack of experience, the mistakes that he makes. He just hasn't been here before. He has talent. He has fast hands. He has power in both hands. But at the end of the day, he has slow feet. He has to understand how to utilize his distance and understand timing. Okay, he misses timing. He opens up too wide. He gets overconfident in his hand speed and his power. And this right here, this is the results when you do something like that. Here, right there, bang. That's the result of practicing bad habits. Practicing bad habits, you're going to display it in the ring. It's muscle memory. It's subconscious. And so that's what happened with Ryan Garcia. He paid the price. There you have a missed left hook. He's going to come. Look at the distance. Look at the position he's in. And he's going to open up again. For what? With another hook, right? And he gets caught to the liver with a left hook to the liver by somebody who's shorter and more compact and have a high ring IQ. He didn't understand the distance. He didn't know what he was doing there. And he just results back to just throwing tons and tons of hooks. When all else fails, Ryan Garcia, he's going to throw tons and tons of hooks. He's not setting it up with a jab. He's just counting on his hand speed and his power. And ultimately, he pays the price. And he paid the price. He paid the price. He got hit with it by Javier Fortuna. He got hit with it by Luke Campbell and dropped by Luke Campbell. And he got dropped and stopped by Gervonta Tank Davis. So with that said, he just lacked the experience. He didn't listen. He wanted to make the biggest fight possible. He conceded to all their obligations, the catch weight, the rehydration clause, and ultimately he paid the price for it. Point blank and period. And so with that said, Joe Goosen, he knows very well, okay, because I know people close to the situation that have told me that Joe Goosen has told them that Ryan Garcia does not show up to the gym. He don't show up to the gym. He comes when he wants to. He's not committed. The same thing that Canelo Alvarez and Eddie Reynoso have been saying, that Ryan Garcia is not committed to the sport of boxing. Canelo Alvarez even attests to saying it's sad that, he's wasting his talent. That's what Canelo Alvarez stated. He said Ryan Garcia is wasting his talent and it's sad and it's hard to watch. He needs to commit to the sport of boxing. Yes, he has power. He has the left hook, right hooks, but he's just not committed to the sport of boxing. And ultimately it shows up on the night of the fight. It's just that he was more talented than everybody else in those other fights, so the cream didn't rise to the top. In this situation, the cream rose to the top, and he paid the price against Gervonta Tank Davis. And we saw the reaction from Joe Goosen with this situation that he had nothing to say. Silence speaks volumes. And Joe Goosen disappearing, he sees everything everybody's saying, and he's still staying silent because he knows Ryan Garcia never committed to him and to this training method and to his game plan. And hence the reason why Joe Goosen don't feel obligated, to speak up. But he should, because in the build-up and a promotion and during the fight, he was present. So you're going to be present then, be present afterwards, period. But that's all I got for y'all. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is, man. It's your boy Blue. Let me know what y'all think. Should Joe Goosen have spoken up? Should he have just disappeared from the very beginning? Should he parted ways from the beginning when he knew Ryan wasn't on board? Let me know what y'all think. Peace.
Hi, my name is Heather the Heat Hardy, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.